Happy late night to all you NXT people out there in the WWE Universe. Wow, what an episode we just got from NXT tonight with that casting by Obafemi on Dragon Lee, everybody. That was totally unexpected in that main event. Man, Des, Shane, what a night tonight. What do you guys think?
Well, man, uh, as I said to you guys in the chat earlier, what a big difference between last week's episode of NXT to this week's episode. Me personally, I was very, very, very impressed. That ending, my goodness gracious. I can't even pronounce this dude's name, Obafemi or something like that. I did not see that actual cash-in happening because usually when cash-ins try to happen, somebody interferes or messes it up or whatever like that. But I mean, my goodness gracious, what a way to start off a new title run. Uh, I do clap it up for Dragon Lee. That was a good run that he had with the title. His win over Dominic Mysterio in the last pay-per-view was unexpected, but he did the damn thing. And kudos to him and best wishes to him. But man, oh man, Shawn Michaels did not miss with that ending. Shane, what about you? How do you feel about it, bro?
Saying good evening, good rainy evening to everyone out there tonight. And believe it or not, I do agree with Des. Tonight was, I will say, I was very shocked because I was expecting a snooze fest like it was last week. But this week, we had ourselves a jam packed, very impressive show. I don't know, maybe because that today was the first round of the Dusty Bowl Classics. I don't know, maybe because the NXT title was up for takes. I don't know. Maybe because we have a new champion. I don't know. We had a men's tag team title. This was all on one night. So I must say, yes, it was a pretty jam packed night. And we are going to have a jam packed show coming to you now. Ain't that right, Jay?
Sir, yes, it is. It's going to be a great recap of this show. It felt actually like a PLE. I'm not even going to lie to you. Everything that I saw tonight basically is what I've been trying to tell you guys for the longest within the show. Like the show has its hits and misses for like one episode, but then after that, the talent just seems to go all out, and you could tell, these guys, females, even the managers are getting tips and just doing it all from everybody. It was great actually to see. I don't I honestly would say if they could continue this, their run towards heading up to Mania, that Mania weekend when Stand and Deliver comes on, if it was like tonight, it's gonna be twice as better later on because NXT does actually deliver when everybody brings it. Like from the first match to the last match, everything was spot on tonight. Even the little segments that we got with Tiffy Time and Fallon Henry, even that had its little funny parts to it.
Yes, I agree. We had a totally jam packed show. So, hey, let's get it going, Jay. What say you? What's going on tonight?
Well, tonight we basically started off. Like I told you guys earlier, I kind of missed a little bit of the beginning, but I caught up and I noticed that Nikita was fighting Blair Davenport in the first match, and you guys were telling me that they fought in the parking lot prior to the match. Now, from what I seen, little bits and pieces, Nikita needed to be a little bit faster on her feet. You can tell that the ACL injury that she had really made her agility, her dynamics of wrestling a little bit slower tonight. So I'm hoping this is not the end of those two facing each other because I really feel, Nikita could have won that. But kudos to Blair for actually, busting the chops. She did what she had to do that entire match. And more than likely now, this was just like a preview for that little 20 woman battle royal we got going on next weekend, which is going to be even more dope because now we're going to see 20 of the NXT females fighting. And as like Valkyria said earlier, we are the deepest division as far as with women on any roster, which I agree. The women's future is bright. Des, what you think?
Well, so I can fill you in. So yeah, basically what happened was the ladies were entering the arena, to come into work as always, and then they started brawling then. And apparently the brawl never stopped from the moment that they came into work all the way up until the beginning of NXT, which the ring announcers basically said this wasn't supposed to be the first match of the night, but then somehow, some way they went all the way into the ring, and then the referee rang the bell. So it was like, holy shit, okay, we're gonna just start with this. And you were right about Nikita. if I'm saying her name correctly. She was a bit slow, but they were, that was a part of the story within the match where, Davenport was, taking shots at her knees and stuff of that nature. And then it looked like her left knee, which was the non-injured knee, might have went out on her. So she was basically moving really slow. And then she tried a move outside of the ring where she tried to kick Davenport in the head when she was leaning against the ring post, and Davenport ducked, and she hit her knee. Her whole leg wrapped around the uh, the ring post, and then from there it was just straight downhill. I was not expecting her to lose that match. I mean, just because of her, her size and her ability, but it looked like it's something that's just starting. It doesn't look like it's something that's ending because they were getting at it. I mean, that's definitely something that could be probably like a trilogy type situation. Shane, what did you think of that first match?
I absolutely agree. You have to understand that Blair saw her weakness and she played this smart and she stuck on her weakness. Just because she's big doesn't mean that she's stronger. I could be small, but I'm smarter. And she proved that tonight. Congratulations, Blair, on that victory.
Do you think that like Blair reminds you of anybody like from our past, maybe 10 or 15 years? Because I noticed that she gives off Paige vibes to me. I don't know about that, but I've
Yes,
been kind of seeing it with her.
yes, I agree with you. Actually, it was I thought you was gonna throw that at us before you gave your answer, but yes, I actually was gonna say she's giving me Paige vibes as well. Even though I didn't see much of Paige's career because it was pretty short, but I definitely agree with you on that one.
Mm. I
Yeah,
honestly get, talk. You go ahead, Shane.
no, I was just going to quickly add that yes, she does. She definitely gives that little Paige swag. At least a reminder of top tier Paige, the Paige from WWE that we was introduced to.
Most def, bro. Like you said, kudos to her and congrats on the win. Now, like, but the next little segment that was in between, I missed that one as well, but I caught a little bit of it with Mello and Trick. So basically, Trick was hearing what Mello had to say, and Mello was more or less like, "Look, I got plans for us to get titles, yada yada yada, and we're gonna get into the Dusty Cup." I really think this is a setup for for this guy, Mello, to backstab him at the end, similar to what we was talking about last week, where it really feels like a Shawn Michaels Diesel thing going on between the two. Like, two title Trick is the thing with him, and they're not going to win the breakout tournament in my opinion, just because of the fact is, one doesn't trust the other, and one just wants to really get over, and he doesn't want Son to get the shine. You know, I think it was okay by adding them to the Dusty Cup, but with their opponents next week, they should smash them. If they lose next week, then yeah, they could brawl against each other next week. What you guys think about that little segment?
Well, I'll pick it up from there. As I was telling you guys in our chat, that entire segment or promo backstage was basically a manipulation because from jump, um, Trick wasn't with it. He was still mad about the fact that Mello showed up last week when he told him specifically to stay in the back, but he showed up anyway. And then Mello flipped it, and it was like, oh yeah, but you know what? You still got the win on your own last week, even though we all saw Kevin Owens, excuse me, interfered. Knocked he knocked Grayson Waller out. So, but again, he messed with his mind. And then when he mentioned that he was like, "Yo, I got us into the Dusty Cup tournament," and Trick wasn't with it again. He was like, "Bruh, like that's not what I need to stay focused on Dragunov." And he's like, "Yo, but bro, look, you can stay focused by staying prepared, staying ready, and all this other stuff." And I'm like, "Yo, he is just continuously manipulating this guy," and I'm like, "Wow," and Trick keeps falling for it. So he's like, "You know what? The last line that got Trick to go with it was it two title trick or something like that, or two belt trick, something similar to Becky Lynch." But yeah, but then he first Mello was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be a Grand Slam champion and all this other stuff." Like he bigging himself up, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, and you'll be two title trick or whatever like that," insinuating that Trick will have the tag titles and the NXT title. But that whole segment was definitely a manipulation by Mello, who I dig. But I'm just like, bro, please don't turn heel, don't turn bad on your own guy. But Shane, how did you feel about it?
I agree with everything that you just said. So then the question is, will they be able to be that tag team to even advance? Because you're going against these two guys from some place in Africa. What is their name? Aegis and Malik, and they had their cute little vignette with Miss Donna Karen talking about stretches or what have you. So we'll see next week if Trick and Mello can actually mesh and move forward, or does Mello have a little something in his back pocket to play trick games on Trick?
Can I pick that up real quick before you come back to us, Jay? I actually think they're going to lose. I mean, I think Trick and Mello will lose that match because of the fact that they're not on the same page. If they win, then it'll be just crazy, because they're not on the same page. It's obvious, but I think that they're going to lose, and it'll progress their story further. Jay?
I really think you're right about everything you just said. You were very spot on with it. Them two guys that came into the ring, them. Them two guys that were there with that. I think that was Thea. I don't know if it was Thea or not, but they've been around literally for almost 2 years. Had one title shot. These guys are barely on TV as it is. If anything, we see them backstage with all the tag teams talking, doing those boring segments that we would normally get. I have no clue what they're gonna offer us when they're in this because this is their second time in the Dusty Cup, and I don't really like what I've seen from them. I don't know which type of angle they're going with those two, as far as if they got anything later on for them. But to match them up with Trick and Mello, this kind of feels like a setup to me, in all actuality. And look, we got two responses just thrown to us. Does take it away with that because I have no clue how to tap into that.
All right, no problem, man. So yeah, we got two responses from our guy King. I'm gonna play the first one first to see what he says, and then I'm gonna play the second one right after, and then we'll respond to it. All right, here we go.
What to do, my G's? My bad, I'm a little late. I see y'all already talking about the fact that Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin are going to be the ones to win that breakout tournament. It's just kind of written. Remember when I told you that? See, the fact that Grayson Waller got himself into that shit with Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens had costed him that match against Trick Williams. See, that's going to be a catalyst for Grayson Waller them costing Kevin Owens that match with Logan Paul.
All right, so real quick on that, King. That is something that Jay and I already spoke about, where we both feel that Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin will win the Dusty tournament. I mean, it just makes sense. It makes sense. They're like, even though they're the most dysfunctional tag team, but they're the best tag team. I don't even know how to put it. Like, they're the strongest tag team. So that's something that we definitely spoke on. And then with the whole KO situation, we spoke about that on Friday, where we already know that whole thing is leading to something else down the line on SmackDown. So, but it's just that I brought it up because of the fact that Mello said to Trick's face that he won the match by himself. But yet we said and we posted and stated on Friday that Mello put on his Twitter basically a picture of him and KO, and then kind of insinuated that he called KO down to help out. So he's being two-faced in a sense. Jay, go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, I actually agree with that because of the fact is we look at both Braun Breaker and Corbin, and from what they were saying last week when they were talking about the two asshole thing, one ass and another ass, you could kind of tell that okay, if they put their differences aside, they could probably be the tag team in NXT because that match itself when they fought Gallus and Gallus was the former tag team champions, and I'm one who actually likes a team like Gallus because all they do is hit hard, and within that match with Corbin, Braun, and them two fighting each other, that match was wild. They was going all going at it, and then even that German suplex body slam, whatever you want to call it, that Braun Breaker did tonight was crazy. Unbelievable strength that I haven't seen from him in a long time. This is like Braun Breaker when he was the 2.0 champion. This is the Braun that I like to see. And then, Corbin looks a little bit more motivated now, having a younger guy by his side and being able to teach him and take him under his wing. This is like a match made in heaven between the two, and I'm all for them winning the Dusty Cup. And then as far as with like Trick and Mello in the tournament with, in that same pairing, we already know what Melo's up to, more or less. Melo just wants the title and anything to make Trick look bad. He don't want Trick getting anything bigger than him. So you look at the tag team titles, if they was to win it, it's just, we're tag champs. And the Melo's going to probably be like, ha, I can get the main chip now. Because now you're too worried about being the tag champion. And it will sidetrack a guy like Trick. Because it seems like Trick is, a softie. He's just like, yeah, man, it's Trick Melo gang. And Trick is like, and Melo more or less is just like, yeah, right. I don't know. I'm a trick your ass. You best believe it.
So here's my question for you, Jay, because I am a strong believer that everything has a start. This whole thing with Trick and Carmelo, what started this? What did Trick do to Melo for Melo to have this wishy-washy attitude towards him? I am not a follower of NXT nor them, like I only know for so much, but I would like to know what is it that Trick did to Melo for Melo to have this inner hate, I guess, against him. Not so out there, but you can see that there is something that is boiling that is going on. So my question is, where did this come from?
John Cena.
Yeah, yes. Thank you, Des. It came exactly from that talk that he had with John Cena in the background, in the backstage. And Melo was like, what you was talking to John Cena for and about. And, Trick was like, I got to handle things on my own. It's time for me to do me. And he entered the tournament to face, for the winner to face Dragunov for the title. And Melo wasn't feeling that because, Melo was just fresh off of losing to Dragunov. And he's like, wow, now you're going to basically overstep the boundaries and just forget my rematch, this, that. And Trick was telling him, look, you can get your rematch. You can go ahead and fight him. But if I win this tournament, I'm winning. And I'm more than likely going to face you or Dragunov. And every time that Trick was winning the match, Melo only came out at the end of each match just to clap for him. He wasn't there to help him win or do anything because Trick was already telling him, I don't need your help. I helped you win every time. I don't need you to help me win at any moment because I can handle mine. With Trick, he has a bright future. We could all see he's like a Booker T type guy. And Booker T, you could tell, is working with him straight up.
Oh yeah, man. No, but definitely. Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that one. It definitely started with John Cena when John Cena showed up on that episode of NXT where all the legends and everybody was there, and basically took him under his wing. It was like, look, this is what you got to do. You got to do you, bro. Like, your man's Melo was doing what's best for him. You got to do what's best for you. But I don't think Melo doesn't have Trick's best interests at heart. I think he still cares about his friend. Situations just look a certain way, but I don't think that way. I think that everything is good. I don't look at it as Shawn Michaels and Diesel. I don't look at it as Triple H and Shawn Michaels. I think it's just somebody who's trying to look out for his friend. Like he told him earlier tonight, he said, my job is to make sure that you're good and look after you. And they agreed on that. So I don't think there's any malice with Melo towards Trick. I mean, we're human. Of course, sometimes we might get a little jealous or whatever like that. But other than that, he said it. His goal is to be, what is it, Grand Slam champion or triple, whatever they call it on NXT. And he said, Jay, he said that he wants Trick to be two belt Trick. You can't be two belt Trick if you only got the tag title. You got to win the NXT championship too. So I don't know where he was coming at with him not supporting Trick being NXT champion, bruh.
I I really think that's just all a setup to keep him on, quiet, smooth, and under wraps with what he's doing. Because remember, Lexus King got in his ear already with Melo and told him he had to do what he had to do to get where he needed to get to as well to get back to the top. And if it had to mean eliminating Trick or doing something of that nature to him, then do it. So right now, it feels like Melo already has him. Like,
But
I got you
Jay,
in the palm of my hands.
but Jay,
What? Talk to me.
um, you said that um, Mel already had somebody in his ear, right? But Strickland had two people in his ear because Strickland had John Cena in his ear. And if you forgot about this whole buddy situation that he has with Dragon, all of a sudden they're cool and great friends, and he's rooting for him and all that other stuff. He got in his ear too. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. But with Dragunov is only letting him know, like, more or less, like, you can't really trust your boy. You got to look out for you, type way. Because he right now, what Melo is doing is he's making sure he keeps on a keen level to where when it's time to fight Dragunov for the belt, because Trick still has his opportunity. More than likely it's going to be at Stand and Deliver, more than likely, and that's where we could see him getting blindsided by Melo. 2 months down the line, but right now we're going to look at it as they're buddy buddy. Everything's going to go right, but you got to just watch Melo's face, the way he talks. It's not old Melo. It was where I'm trying to get to with it. Old Melo wasn't this way. This is kind of like a heel Melo. It's like real small that you can see that, and I feel they're only doing this because they had no roster room for him on SmackDown.
Well, I guess we'll agree to disagree. But yes, that was the next segment on NXT. Where do you want to go after this? I mean, you want to go in order of the matches, or you want to just jump off? Because I have some hot takes that we never
Yeah,
got to yesterday from Raw.
we
So what do you want to do, my man?
we basically already covered the Corbin and Dallas, so we could just go on to like the Fallon Henry Chippy time at the ranch. That's pretty much that's a quick segment you could run through because you could just throw on all three segments into this one talk. As far as she had her working in the stable with the horses, cleaning them, giving them the hay, cleaning shit up, falling in water. All she did was basically it was just like learn a lesson from Fallon, and that's not to always be pretty. You got to get your hands dirty sometimes. I don't want to stay too much on that subject because it doesn't, I'd rather get into more of the wrestling talk of everything else. Like even the fight after the segment was the women's title match, which was like, like a Valkyria match. And not even that. Um, Lyra was talking, saying that she was going to start and finish the year as a champ. And that she had spoke to Ava and let her know that the way they're going to determine her next challenger is by having a 20-woman battle royal. And the last four entrants that are there is going to turn it into a fatal four-way. So Lola and her homegirl came out, the two Latinas came out, and they told her to watch out because I can cash in at any moment. And she said, look, I got the crowd being my sheep. I got the Latina heat. She was feeling herself there because that was one of her promos that you could say is putting her out there on the map at the moment because they barely talk. And, when they began to jump Lyra, Paxi came in and helped her. And Paxi's been showing up maybe the past 3 weeks to show face because she was out for some time. So it's making this now gonna probably be a tag team match maybe next week. I'm not too sure of. You know, and then even after I'm happy to see, like I said earlier, to see 20 women from this roster duke it on, get it on, and make it what it's supposed to be. They're gonna let us see the top women that are coming up. And when we get those final four, we're gonna look at those final four and be like, which one of these final four women are gonna be on the main roster and at what time? That's gonna be a hot take probably for next week. And then after that we had Metaphor talking trash in the back. And they was talking to Briggs, and Briggs, they told Briggs, well, you gotta fight Ora Mensa in order to even try to get a title match with Son again. And you're like, all right, he fought him. Briggs is straight pound and ground, and he gives me JBL vibes from that match that he had with Mensa. Shane, what you think?
Yeah, again, not knowing too much about these guys from what I seen in the ring, that was some powerful stuff that was going on, and it was an easy breezy. It was easy breezy win. Congratulations, and that's pretty much all I got to say on that.
Mundo, what you think about that fight when he brought out that clothesline from hell? Mundo?
Is he smoking again?
Oh, Mundo. Well, where you at, Mundo? If not, I'm gonna jump into the next topic.
Yeah, maybe you should do that. Maybe he went
My
through the
apologies.
latrine.
Yeah, my apologies, guys. I was having technical difficulties. Go ahead, Jay. What was the question? I'm sorry.
I was asking, what do you feel about the Briggs match as far as with him bringing out the JBL clothesline?
Yeah, it was weird because I said it to you guys in the chat that he reminds me of JBL, but then when I thought more about it, um, it goes back to when JBL first came into the WWE. I think it was under the Blackjacks, and they were those cowboy guys or whatever like that. So that's the vibe that I got tonight. But then when I seen the clothesline from Hell, I'm like, oh hell yeah, definitely a carbon copy of JBL or Bradshaw. But he's tough. Like, I mean, I respect that move. That's a hell of a move. You got to execute it properly for it to go over. So I enjoyed him. Plain and simple.
I feel that he will be a main roster player within the next 2 years if he keeps up what he's doing, you know? And then even after, after that match was over, your girl came on. Your girl Ava backstage. And she was talking with Luca. Now Luca is a
Hold on,
fresh face.
wait. I'm interrupting you. Hold on a second. If you're gonna talk about Ava, you call her Boss Lady Ava, okay? That's her name. Boss Lady
Oy vey.
King, back me up. Boss Lady Ava is her name. She makes the decisions, and y'all better learn to live with it. Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
Okay. Ava, the secretary, was being shown pics from Luca, and Luca was letting her know, like, look, I did not lose the match. You got to do something about this. And Ava more or less was like, okay, fine, I'll take care of it. Then 2 seconds later, Dragon Lee comes out and he tells her, like, look, I'm ready. I'm back. My visa's good. And then he gets confronted by Lexus King. And Lexus King was like, oh, look what I got here, a nice little shiny star. And I'm gonna, beware. This is an opportunity for me. And it's signed and I'm fighting you. you know. So they took that into hands and had the main event basically. But at the same time, what I was going to say before about Luca, if you notice the way the NXT is going, the route that they're following, we got Braun and we got Melo. Now, we're basketball guys. That's LeBron and Melo, Carmelo Anthony, and then years later, 10 years later, here comes Luka Doncic. Now all of a sudden, look at a Luka on WWE. What a coincidence that WWE is falling into the mode of bringing basketball player names on top of wrestlers, which is funny, And I hope,
You got to be a fan of both of them to recognize that, though. You can't be a wrestling fan and not a basketball fan because you wouldn't catch it,
right,
and you can't be a basketball fan and not a wrestling fan because you obviously wouldn't even see it. But that's something cool because even me being both, I didn't catch on to that, but you did, definitely.
right. I've been keeping track of the way they did it because look, Braun Breaker, 2-time champion, Melo, 1-time champ with the North American, and he was 1-time champ as far as with the main belt. Now we go look into like LeBron James history, multiple time champion, in every type of aspect, the MVP, this and that. Then you go with regular Carmelo Anthony, and Carmelo Anthony is a college champion and an Olympic champion. And AKA, I really feel that that's what they did with Melo from NXT. North American college championship. Main roster, your Olympic championship. Now, boom, when there's probably, like we was talking about before, there's maybe nothing for him in the main roster a la Melo Anthony. Nothing wherever he went. So maybe just keeping Melo where he's at is safe.
Well, I already told you that I feel that right now, with everything that's going on in the main rosters on both shows, Raw and SmackDown, that Melo would end up getting lost in the shuffle of things. Like, remember, I brought up the fact that the current WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, when they got drafted to Raw, it was a big situation because they were still NXT Women's Champions. But then, as soon as they got drafted to Raw, you never saw them again. And then when you did see them again, they were losing their belts to Chelsea and was it Sonya Deville, which
Correct.
unified the tag team titles on both shows. So I'm like, it would suck for Melo to get lost in the shuffle of the main roster. So yeah, I think, and it's the same thing with Braun Breaker because they're big fishes in a small pond right now in NXT, but once they get to the main roster, it's a different situation. They're just starting out, and without having a cruiserweight title or European title, there's no place for them right now. They'll just be like
Hmm.
matchless. We already have those guys. We already have the Tozawas of the world, and guys of that nature just filling time. And it would suck to them to just be filling time.
Perfect. Great. I respect that answer. After all of that little segment that was on with Lexus King, Ava, Dragon Lee, all of that, we got tag title match, OTM versus Dax and D'Angelo. Now, OTM, I don't know what to say about them because they're not giving me anything to be like, ooh, about. These are two big, brolic guys that look like they're coming from Street Fighter 3. It doesn't give, not even Street Fighter 3, Def Jam, New York. If you guys remember that video game from back then, those two guys remind me of characters from that, and they don't have nothing to me. Having Reggie, aka Scripps, with them, that's not helping them at all. Scripps ain't doing nothing with them. So with Stacks and D'Angelo already beating them in this match, you could kind of see that, with Stacks and D'Angelo, they got everything on point. They know what they're doing out there. They support each other in the ring. And I give it to Stacks tonight. Stacks was probably the MVP of the night, but that boy, he was doing his thing in that ring tonight. I give him much respect. Very clean, hard hitting, you know, tough, hard nosed guy out there. And it was good at the same time for them now fully introducing us to Adriana Rizzo. And we know now she's going to be a player in the game as far as within the women's division. So, there was a segment later on within the show that OTM was walking to the back outside, and Kalani was talking with them, and she was like, "Look, y'all ain't never gonna win tag gold without having a female basically by your side to take out Adriana. So we got to even up the numbers." And Reggie was more or less in agreement with her on it because that's the only route they'll probably have to winning. But I wouldn't just directly throw them back into the tag team title picture because if they lose again, then to me it's like they're gonna just continue falling back within that. So I would let them get their matches in against other tag teams and let them continuously build what they have going on because there's more within those two, and I just don't know if they're it. The braids, the bandanas, it doesn't to me fit those two guys and what they bring to the ring.
Don't you
You
go
know what I
acting
mean?
like don't act like Vince McMahon now. Come on now. Their look is their look. Their look fits their story. They can be champions. They just leveled up. They just got homegirl who matches their style. It's not like she came in acting different from what they are. She came in matching their style. So I think that OTM will be on the come up.
OTM must stand for, I don't know what you want to say, off talent but muscles. It's like you got these two big brolic guys in the ring, and you think that they are going to deliver. You think that somehow that these two sets of muscles are going to sync with each other and just beat up their opponents and just give us some gut wrenching hits. But we didn't get that tonight. Yeah, we got a couple of little slams here and there, but they just seemed off to me. And really, really, Miss Parker from the Bronx is going to come here and make a huge difference. So what is the point of this Reggie guy, this Leap and Letty guy that used to be on Raw? You mean to tell me that he was there the whole time and nothing changed, and now you're telling me that this woman is going to come on and she's going to make a change? You know what? I'll give you one night. I'll give you one night with Miss Bronx and see what type of changes happen. If there's no change, then guess what? You've lost a fan or a potential.
But
See that
but
I definitely am feeling what you're saying on it because I agree. OTM
but,
is either hit or miss with those two. Go ahead, Des.
but what could have Reggie done against Rizzo? Like he can't hit a woman. This ain't 1997, 98. He can't hit her. So if you bring in a woman, just like how OC did when they were down, it was just the three of them and Judgment Day plus Rhea, and she was messing them over. They brought in Mi Chin. So now you bring in a woman to even balance things out. Why not? Why not have her cover the bases as far as the woman side? Because at the end of the day, she cheated. She cheated for the tag team champions. She pushed uh, Reggie into doing a frog splash onto his own man, and then they caught a finisher after that. So why not? You can't. Come on, let's not be blind to that fact. Did y'all both overlook that?
No, we're both not overlooking it, but what me and Shane are basically seeing and saying is the fact that, you know, Reggie's done too much, and it seems like he's always being put to the side for a woman, a la Mella, and when he was chasing down whoever it was backstage during the 24/7 days with Dana Brooke. Matter of fact, he was chasing her down, and now with this, another female has to take the lead because probably her voice and her power go ring bells. And as Shane said, it's only one time chance for her and this group. I feel like I was saying, you gotta bring them down from the bottom, start them back up, and earn another title shot. Let's see what now the girl has to offer, what Miss Bronx has to offer before we throw her fully into the stable in OTM.
Shane.
Jay said it. We just wait till next time. If Mix Bronx can do it, then that's what's up. If not, her ass goes back on that 6 train back home. And then OTM will be a thing of the past.
Wow, the 6 train back home. Wow. Hey. Oh my gosh. But
Now, keep in
again,
mind, I only say that because if you look at that segment, she had this entire attitude as if, Reggie, you're not doing anything. You're good for nothing but me. I could put you on top. I can make a difference. Oh, yeah? Well, let's see if those long extension fingernails can do some magic for the team. That's my attitude. That's the reason why I'm coming at her like that, because she had this attitude that she can get these guys out of the mud and put them up at the top of the mountain. Well, let's see. We'll give you a chance.
Ooh, nice one with that, Shane, because that's the name of the group, Out of the Mud. What a way to put it in context, my dude. That was real perfect, and I heavily agree with it. It's, what is there to expect from a fan's point of view, and we're giving it to you on that. It's just it's basically her being a fresh face and it being like not really. She hasn't done anything yet for us to see. So this is why I also say she has to get some in ring skills, and we got to see what she has to offer the group before I say, okay, fine, yeah, she could be OTM and help them out and take out Adriana Rizzo.
but that's why if y'all paid attention, she at the end of her segment, uh, at her segment, Reggie was like, "Okay, let's talk business." They didn't just say, "All right, you're in." The two big dudes was like, "All right, cool, cool, cool," and then Reggie, the manager, was like, "Let's talk business," and then we faded out of that. So remember that part.
Reggie
Different
knows what's good
wording,
for him.
same difference.
Exactly, exactly. We already know Reggie knows what's good for him. And look at that, we're not even calling him by his NXT name. That's how bad of a character he is that we still call him Reggie. Who cares about
No, I don't know.
scripts?
I
Like,
don't know anybody's name on NXT.
like,
I'm just trying. I'm
no,
trying.
look, no, we all know him as Reggie. Yo, look, Des, before you and Shane started watching NXT, they was selling us scripts for like 2 months. The way Ali was doing that retribution crap. They fed us scripts. And we all thinking it's gonna be a wrestler, somebody who's gonna perform in the ring. And when it popped out to be Reggie, you're like, what? This bum? This guy who jumps on a trampoline and flips in the ring? This guy, no, should have been kicked out. He's
All right,
only getting a second chance because he fits a manager role, chauffeur role, and he's always a yes man to the females.
all right.
If
Look,
you notice.
you guys are ticking me off with this conversation here. So I move that we just go ahead and move forward from this because y'all are ticking me off big time with this. So Jay, on you, Jay.
I got you, my guy. Because the next segment after that was, I mean, not the next segment, well, the next match after that was Axiom and Nathan Frazier versus Hank and Tank in the Dusty Cup tournament, and that to me was a match that literally was high paced, hard hitting. Like, bro, I kid you not, it was like I was getting dizzy watching everything because as fast as Frazier was going, you see Axiom coming with the flip, then you see the kick, and you're like, oh shit. Then Hank and Tank comes and they start pounding, throwing. You're like, wow. And these little scrawny guys are just still getting right back up and are up to speed, like 100 miles an hour, to the point where it's like two roadrunners fighting two coyotes, and it's a mismatch because these guys know each other already. Frazier and Axiom, they're like best of friends. Hank and Tank only became a tag team because they were in the background being security and they were getting picked on in the back. And, you know, they were seeking advice from Gallus on how to, get better and what they had to do. So over the time from the summer to now, Hank and Tank went from being basic nobodies to having nothing in the ring until this moment now where they're displaying crazy power. They're showing us some agility. And, pretty much they got matched up well against two high flyers because this is something like how we would see on the main roster when Ricochet went at it against Braun Strowman. You had Speed against a guy that was a big guy that's got some, he got feet on him. He could move. And maybe once in a blue, he'll jump off the rope. So I can see the angle that they're trying to get with having those type of guys fighting against each other because we do it as fans, we want to see what big men can do. Like back then with Vince only used big men with choke slams, power bombs, etc. Now with the new breed that we're getting, we're seeing a lot of the bigger guys, the 275s and up, the heavyweights, they're doing what they got to do now because now they could display everything that they have. And I'm giving, kudos to Hank and Tank, even though they lost. So, what do you guys think about how that fight went between those two? Des, take it.
First off, I feel that you would have had a better watch of the match without getting dizzy if you watched more of the Flash. Then you wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, I was dizzy from this match because they were moving so fast or whatever like that. Come on, man. It's just a different style of lucha libre type of wrestling. The Green Ranger, aka Axiom, was on point. Frazier was doing his thing as well. I enjoyed the match. It was a quick match because that was the match before the main event, but I enjoyed it 100%. Like you said, it was speed versus power, but as we learned from someone like Shawn Michaels, who's in charge of NXT, speed will always win versus power because power seems to move much slower. Yes, they'll hit you with a move that'll have you incapacitated for a few minutes or whatever like that. But other than that, they're hitting you with boom, bang, boom, 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 boom. It disorientates you, and that's what we saw tonight. And they picked up the win. Shane, what do you think?
It's like watching Street Fighter. You had the fastest character, which was the chick, what's her name, Chang Li, and then you had the most powerful guy, the Russian dude. And it was like, yeah, if you kick him and kick him, as long as he doesn't grab you, you okay. But when he grabs you and he does that whole power drive in the air thing, and the next thing you know, half your power is gone. That's what this match was like. You had two heavy hitters going against two leaping Lennies. These guys was quick, they was fast, and they was jumping out of the ring and jumping off the ropes. So they gave a show. So of course, when you have speed versus power, the people are going to go for the speed because the speed also brings eye candy. It's eye candy to see these guys fly all over the place, as opposed to power that's just swinging and giving you like a jab in the stomach or a jab on the cheek. So of course, as the WWE Universe, we like to see speed over strength because how many people are actually fast, even though most are strong?
Definitely right on that. We definitely got fed the right way within that match. I I feel there should be more to come within those two guys. The future is here with as far as guys that are high flyers and everything. It's I'm happy with what I see with the product. We know guys like Ray Mysterio, he's on his way out the door, and we are seeing the next cycle of luchadors slash high flyers. We're getting that dose that we need, so that when these guys, the older vets do go out eventually, we got a great, quintet or maybe 10 guys that could freaking fly and just wow the crowd. And
Jay, if I can
talk to me.
interrupt you, this was a question that I had, thought of while we were watching the main event. Do you feel that Dragon Lee is the new Rey Mysterio moving forward? Like, do you think that, from what we saw in the last pay-per-view when he went against Dominic Mysterio and he won the belt and then he went out and met with Ray at the announcer's table, and Ray gave the little head bump and praise and everything. Do you feel that Dragon Lee is being built up to be the new Rey Mysterio for WWE in the long run? Jay first.
Hell, hell to the yes. I already feel that Ray gave him the blessing to be that champion, to be that guy that could take it as far as luchador wise. With the mask and everything, the guy gives you that type of Rey Mysterio vibes. If you really watched Ray early on in his career without the mask in WCW, he was a jackrabbit, twice as much more than what he was when once he started getting older. We got half of it, and when we seen Dom fight him, it gave me Eddie against Ray vibes from back then, because you see that both fighting styles and techniques fit both guys, you know. And with a guy like Dragon Lee, they got to keep on executing with him. Don't stop his momentum. We've got him on the main roster on SmackDown already. So, once we know Ray is fully out the door, then we're going to be fed more Dragon Lee, more Dom. Because Dom right now is within the group and he fights here and there. So I feel we'll see more of everything that comes out later on. I wouldn't be too surprised if those guys like Axiom and Nathan Frazier will be in the main roster, say after like Money in the Bank or something, to give these guys their breakout, or after Mania, whatever the case may be. But we know within that division, that North American / cruiserweight division, we know there's a future, and it's bright, bro.
Amen, amen. And I'll say this to finish it off. What Ray did, Ray passed the torch to Dragon Lee. And Dragon Lee's first task after receiving that torch, I want you to get in that ring and I want you to beat my son. And that's all I got to say about that.
For sure. And right before the main event, we did get Ridge confronting Gallus in the back and talking with Joe Coffey. Now, with all of that, I'm looking at it as if I thought in the beginning that Ridge wanted to probably join them and, help them out. But it seems like the wrong words come out of his mouth and they want to fight him. They want to beat him up. So now you more than likely have a match next week against Joe Coffey. And what's going to more than likely probably happen with Ridge? Going to probably put him on the shelf for a couple of weeks and let the tag team, the two guys in Gallus, do their own thing, because this is the character that they're feeding us within Ridge. If you guys agree with that, I might be seeing it differently, but I feel that the angle that they're going with Ridge is like Ridge is the guy to put people on the shelf to take a vacation. Does
Uh, I don't know. Ridge, first off, ever since he hurt Big E, I ain't like the guy, to be honest, straight up. I ain't like him. And then they went with this angle of him hurting people. I don't like it because of the fact that it's real. The whole Dragunov thing is fake. You get that, but the situation with Big E is real. So honestly, I have nothing to say about that guy. Honestly, I think that he's a poor performer. Maybe needs more training, which is why he's back in NXT. When he met up with Gallus in the back, they told him that he should have stayed with the Brawling Brutes. Who the hell do you think you are, trying to separate yourself from the group that made you? And like I told y'all in the chat, I see him being in the next round of cuts, the next round of budget cuts that Natalia keeps finding her way skipping around. So yeah, I don't really have much an opinion about Ridge because I don't like him because of how he works. He's dangerous. Shane?
Yep, that's right, folks. We can't have a Three Bells episode without Dez taking a shot at Natalia. However, I do agree with Dez with everything he says, because if I was Big E, I would be like, wow, that's kind of fucked up. Like my career has almost ended and you're using it as a storyline. And I'm supposed to stand here like Bojangles and laugh and agree to this. I don't know, it's kind of like a slap in the face, or in this case, a snap on the neck.
Ooh, snap on the neck. Wow. Jay.
Nah, that's true. You know, it's basically a slap in the face. Like you definitely want to, you don't have the same type of thoughts and vibes that you can't get any vibes from Ridge because they're selling us something that we don't want to know as fans. Like, yeah, hurt. You're going in a hurt angle, but you really hurt somebody. So now, to me, the Big E approve of this, okay, this within the company to have that happen. You know,
But Jay, I'm
I
gonna
don't want
call you out. Jay. I'm gonna call you out, Jay.
to.
You
Ooh,
you made it seem as if somehow, some way, that Gallius was gonna use Ridge in their favor, like he
I,
was gonna be a their group. And I went
that's what I
and
thought.
I'm like, well, from what I'm watching, it sounds like they want to beat his ass. So, Jay, explain yourself. Explain yourself,
That's what
please.
I, that's what I was saying. Like in the beginning of the talk about it, Ridge said the wrong things out his mouth, and they basically, like he did with Dragunov, he put his foot in his mouth and wound up fighting the guy. You know, I was saying what I was saying in the group chat, yeah, because I really thought once I seen the confrontation, you remember, y'all guys were like 2 minutes ahead of me. So by the time I'm seeing the confrontation, I'm like, oh shit, he's about to join Gallus.
But
And
bro,
then
I
the
never
shit that
I never got that feeling. I never got the feeling that he was gonna join them. I thought it was animosity from the jump, you know, and which is,
right.
that's like I never got the feeling that they're like, hey, brother, come with us. They told him straight up, you should have stayed with Brawling Brutes because with Brawling Brutes, you were on SmackDown. Now that you decided to break away from Brawling Brutes, your ass is back here on NXT. That's what I got from that.
Agreed.
Same here. We can move on if you want to into that last match, even though we already talked about it.
So if
Like
I mean, if we already spoke about the last match, then we ain't got to talk about the last match. We opened up the show talking about the last match and how we were all shocked and surprised at the fact that the title eventually did change hands. Um, I'll say this, Jay, you thought that the match was going to change hands with Lexus being the champion. I told you that wasn't going to happen, which it did not happen. But I didn't see you know a cash in happening tonight because of the fact that the match ended at 10:04. So I thought that they didn't even have the time to change titles, but they did. Um, yeah,
I agree.
I do, I
Uh,
do, I do have questions that we never got to from last night that I would love to ask you guys. If I get your blessing, I'll ask a few questions. If not, it's up to you, boss.
and that's a wrap for NXT, guys. Des, let's get into some hot takes.
So let's go back to Monday Night Raw. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Mundo, aka Destaker, aka Mondes Ford, with your boys, as always, Shane O'Mac and Triple J's. I got a few hot takes that we never hit up. Um, Jay, I will go with you first. Um, who is your WWE MVP for the year of 2023 across all brands?
Across all brands, you know where I'm going with this. I'm not sure, but I'm going with my guy Gunther. Gunther had a hell of a year from the beginning to the end. He showed us like he basically was that guy. When he defended his belt, he gave people multiple chances. He gave the crowd what they wanted to see as far as within hard hitting fights, clean, no cheating. And that's what I really loved about what he brought to the table. His English got better, his speaking on the mic got 100% better, and we got to see his leadership within his own group by him telling his guys to be like, look, I'll step to the side and I'll let you guys do you so you can improve on what you need to improve on because we're Imperium. We don't cheat to win. We fight. And that's why I say that Gunther is my MVP.
Shane?
For me, I'm going to go with the guy who was the very first ever to get the World Heavyweight Champion. To the guy who has been in pretty much every PLE slash pay per view in 2023. He has shown good mic skills, he has shown pizzazz, and he has never given us a dull moment. And every single week there was a party and we enjoyed it. My guy for 2023 is Seth freaking Rollins.
And Shane, I love that you fell into that trap because I got a question right back at you. Are you ready for it? The question is, who do you see dethroning Seth freaking Rollins as champion and why?
Thank you for that question, Shady Patty. The answer to that is I don't know. He has had so many matches, and so many people were so close, but didn't get it. So who was there left to throw at him? Who? CM Punk? Who? Drew McIntyre? Again, so that he can lose again by a foot? I don't know. Shinsuke, this new anime Shinsuke, which is continuing to lose? Who is out there? I don't know. Maybe we can put Triple J up in there. Maybe he'll have a chance to win. Maybe we could put you up there, Dez, and you could team up with the Miz and see if you two would win. There's nobody that's going to beat Seth. Maybe, perhaps, if he were to go back into the gym and work out some more, Roman Reigns. Maybe. Other than that, I see no one. Seth is the man for 2023, and he's going to continue to be the man in 2024.
Jay, your thoughts?
I like that you said that, Shane, because I feel by summer is when Seth will probably be losing his title because you already know where I'm going again. Gunther's going to take it off of him because if it's going to be a heel and everybody's already fighting him, fighting Rollins, that's all heels. I expect Gunther to take the title right off of him in easy fashion, easy, not nothing hard. Like he's going to really probably break his back, old school style, like backbreaker after backbreaker, slap after slap to the chest, and it's going to give him them power bombs and finish the match. I think it's going to be a clean match, but it's going to be probably the hardest match that Seth has ever had. And I'm a big Seth Rollins guy. But if I'm picking anybody, I'm picking my guy Gunther. Gunther's going to have a fabulous 2024 because Seth is a guy on this main roster that doesn't need a title to stay on the top of his game. He's going to still laugh in your face after he loses. He's going to still come out the ring with the charisma and the bravado that he brings. He's never going to change, win, lose, or draw.
Wouldn't you say the same about Gunther? You could say the exact same thing about Gunther. If he can't get the title, he's going to continue to do his thing. He's going to continue to talk his talk, and he's going to continue to walk the walk until he gets a chance at it again. You could say the same thing about him.
Yes, I agree with that. 100%. They're both guys that are both on top of their games, and there's got to be a track or a way for Gunther to actually fight him. So that's why my guess is probably more than likely by the summer. And it's just a matter of time if and when they decide to say, you know what, Gunther, now's your time, and we're going to have you drop your title in order to get to Seth. So, it's only but a matter of time when we will see that fight. They haven't crossed paths because they don't need to at the moment. Both characters are hot. You feel me? And they both bring their A game.
Okay, so sticking with Imperium, my next question, and I'll go with Jay first, then Shane after. Which tag team would you like to see defeat the Judgment Day for the unified WWE Tag Team Championships? Jay, go ahead.
Oh, damn, I don't really see much out there at the moment. But if I gotta put it out there, man, if Kaiser and Vinci could actually do what they gotta do, then maybe them. But man, that's a real tough one. You feel me? I like you said, there's Miz and Truth out there. There's quite a few tag teams that we could look at, but if you put the Usos back together, maybe I don't know. It's I feel with Judgment Day, it's gonna probably be it's covered. I'm hit. I don't know. I don't know. I just want to see them lose the belts so my guy Priest to get where he gotta be.
I thought we already had this discussion where we talked about the do-it-yourself guys, DIU, versus Judgment Day versus
Yeah,
my
Oh,
guys, the
oh,
Creed
you're right.
brothers. Yeah, we
You're
had this
right.
whole
You're right.
discussion, and it was to be continued because it's still up in the air. Yeah.
Okay, you're right. You're right on that. I totally forgot.
But
Um,
okay, but you guys are talking about mainly Raw characters. What about Pretty Deadly? I thought Jay, you were high on them on SmackDown.
I,
What about the Street
I,
Profits? SmackDown as well. What about them? What about Alpha Academy, Chad Gable, Otis? You know, you guys got to remember. That's my biggest gripe about the tag team division right now. There's so many teams and on two shows, but yet you have only one champion. So you can't forget about all of the teams. Yes, the Creed brothers are cool. They're new though. Like they had your chance. So yeah, that's how I'm looking at that. Um, I got another one for y'all. You ready for that?
hit us.
This
Just a
one's gonna
reminder, Des, your
mm,
street profits are no longer street profits.
don't
They're not
don't
even
don't
Bobby and friends.
please don't give me that BS name. Did we confirm this name from WWE? Please don't
It
give me
was
a
from WWE themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you The Pride. How
what?
you doing?
Oh my God, Lord have mercy, that name is horrible. Horrible. The Pride. Like what? Okay,
That doesn't put fear into nobody's heads right now.
that sounds very
You're not gonna be scared of them.
that sounds very happy. No way, no. But I have a hot take for y'all. It's similar to the NBA, something that people argue all the time about. Um, I'm gonna go with Shane first, and then Jay afterwards. But Shane, who is on your WWE Mount Rushmore? And then Jay, same question for you right after.
Me personally, I can't answer that question because I have too many guys that will be on my Mount Rushmore. There's way too many.
You can only pick four, Shane. You gotta pick four. Pick four for me. Don't bow out now. You've been my hero for the last 2 weeks.
Yes,
Stand
I
on
could be a heel and like multiple guys for multiple reasons and for right reasons. Okay,
stand,
fine. You want
stand
me
on,
to pick right off the top of my head?
yes, stand on business, bro. Give me four
I will.
four guys who would be on your Mount Rushmore. Go ahead.
All right. Even though there's way more than four, but the four that I'm thinking of right now is Macho Man Randy Savage. The guy I'm thinking about, Kurt Angle. The person that I would always spend money to see, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And the guy that is mostly important to the business as a whole, of course, The Undertaker. There's your four. Good luck with that. Do what you want with it.
I mean, look, as long as I hit my guy on that four, I don't care what the other three are. As long as my guy's on the four, I'm with it. Jay,
He's
what
not
about
just your guy. He's a whore, and everybody loves him.
Jay? Go ahead, Jay. Who's your four?
Well, you already know where I'm going with my favorite of all time. Triple H is right up there on the list. I'm gonna go with the 16-time world champ, Mr. Ric Flair. Woo! I would then pick the people's champion, The Rock, and my fourth guy on the list in Mount Rushmore would be Stunning Steve, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
You know what, Jay? You had me when you when you first said 16-time champ. Because in this day and age, they acknowledge that as John Cena. They don't even say Ric Flair, but you got me on that one. But I'll answer this question myself. Obviously, we already know who my number one pick will be. That's The Undertaker. No questions about it. Mark Calloway. That's my guy. Number one. Number two, I would go with Shawn Michaels because I'm a product of the new generation and the Attitude Era. Number three, again because of the fact that I'm a product of the new generation and Attitude Era, I'm gonna go with Bret Hart. He doesn't get a lot of respect from current WWE fans. And then my number four pick, though I gave him hell, but he raised a lot of hell while I was a kid. I'll go with Stone Cold Steve Austin. So Undertaker, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, and Stone Cold Steve Austin are my picks. You guys want to take me apart, or do you guys want to agree with me? Or not? You don't have to agree with me because it's my opinion, but those are my guys.
At least we all didn't pick Hulk Hogan.
Well, when he was in his heyday, I wasn't born, so I don't know. And I remember him from WCW days as far as NWO. So he was an old man to me, so I can't pick somebody like that. And to me, he wrestles very, very. They always said that the Miz wrestles safe. I think Hulk Hogan was even worse in that situation. Okay, you guys ready for some more hot takes that we never hit up?
Bring it on, Marty.
Hit it.
Okay, another one for you right here. We're gonna go with Jay first, and then Shane. The question is, how will the WWE go about Damian Priest cash in? Will it be successful, or because of John Cena, will it be a fail?
You know how I feel about Priest. Priest is gonna win. It's just a matter of time because it seems to me like they're wasting certain moments. You know, they're spoon feeding us at certain times, and you know, it's getting to the point where it's gonna be now or never because he has to the summer. I don't want to see him cash it in before Money in the Bank. You know, we don't got no pay per views or anything in Puerto Rico or in any Latin country, so you know, it would have been 10 times more explosive to see him win it like that. And at the same time, you know, I already told you, I feel if they're really gonna dethrone Roman, I feel Priest is that guy. If they was to actually say let's get the belts off of Roman.
Shane?
So, bouncing off the idea that Jay mentioned about a possible Gunther and Seth match, with them two beating the hell out of each other to a point where they could barely move their eyes, that would probably be the perfect time for him to cash in. Because how many times has he tried to cash in already and failed? What is it, like three, four, the 20th time already? So I would say what Jay says. Around the beginning of the summertime when these two will possibly fight, that would probably be the best time.
Okay, I respect both of y'all opinions. Um, we spoke about this in the chat. I believe we spoke about this on SmackDown as well. But if WWE Triple H decides to go ahead with The Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania, I would say Roman defeats The Rock and kills all of our childhoods by beating The Rock. But it's to the point where Roman is beaten so bad that we'll have a repeat of the Seth Rollins situation, and Damian comes down and cashes in. Because, like he said on Friday, he said it last week that he has until July to cash in, and that time is ticking down quick. So I can see him cashing in on Roman Reigns, and it would be the biggest shock of the year for him to win. That's my take on that one. I have another question for y'all. Y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
Hit
All right.
it.
Next question is, who's the best woman wrestler to dethrone Rhea Ripley of her women's world title? Because Rhea is going towards a year of being world champion since she won it last year at WrestleMania. We'll go with Shane first, and we'll go with Jay after. Go ahead, Shane.
Yeah, I thought we had this topic also where we talked about how Naya could be the one that can do it, and then someone threw in the air that Jade, and when she comes back, that she could possibly uh, take her off of her throne. So I say between Naya and Jade, if she ever manages to get in the ring.
With me, I'm gonna say Nia Jax as well because that's my girl. She's due another title run, you know. And right now, anybody else on that female roster on Raw, they're not giving me any type of I want to be a champion vibe because some of them are managers and the others are basically in tag matches, not giving us singles matches. And if I had to pluck one person from the SmackDown roster to dethrone Rhea, if she was to like say win the Rumble, I will go Bianca Belair.
Okay. Well, Shane, I'm gonna push back on you. Um, so in your point of view, basically, you're telling us that Jade would win the Royal Rumble because that's the only way that she can decide to go against Rhea Ripley. Am I wrong?
Jade is a strong, powerful motherfucker. She has proven that in AEW. Oops, didn't mean to say that at that other label. She is a very strong and powerful woman. I wouldn't be surprised if she can lift Nia up in the air over her head. If she could do that, she is worthy of being champ, don't you think?
I would be surprised if she was able to lift Nia. You know what I mean? Golly. That would be a feat, something that would set the fans on fire if she was able to do that. I never, I didn't follow her in the other company, so I don't know. But man, oh man, that would definitely send the fans crazy if she did that.
Like with me, every time I was seeing Jade on the other company because I was, I tune in at least every other week, and with Jade, they was just giving her crappy people to fight because basically the women's division in that company it feels like the NXT women at the moment. Is a developmental thing with all the women that are there, and probably the best female woman on the roster is probably Britt Baker. You know, other than that, you know, she's not polished. That's my whole thing with Jade. She's not 100% polished at the moment, so she's gonna probably more than likely need that help to actually get better, which is why she's with Natalia in the dungeon and still in the PC training.
Okay, let's say that she's not 100% WWE polished because the fighting styles are different in each company. Certain companies let certain things rock, whereas in WWE they don't let a lot of things rock. So you got to learn the rules and regulations of what they do. So moving on, I got more hot takes for you guys. The next question: will Punk be like Roman and only fight for PLEs or for ticket sales in his next run in WWE? I'll go with Jay first and then Shane after. Shoot.
I really feel with Punk at the age that he's at, yeah, I feel he should just be a PLE slash how can I put it, guy that's on there for promotional use only because we've already been fed Punk for so long that if you could put him on a house show, you could put him on a PLE, it's where it fits him as a character.
Yeah, I agree with Jay. Because the one thing that we do love about Punk is his mic skills. So if anything, every once in a while they do like the little, and coming next week to Raw, we'll have a talk with Punk himself, and then they'll have the video game sound effect of the crowd cheering. So we can see him doing that, and he just basically, he's just talking that'll lead up to a PLE or a particular house show. Because with the house shows, you don't have to do much. You don't have to do a lot. You show up, you throw a couple of punches, and then you say a little word here and there on the microphone, and then you shake some hands, you sign some autographs, you good. So I would say for Punk, yeah, he would be mostly pay per view or once in a while house show, and for Raw, every once in a while, maybe twice a month, he'll come and he'll, say his little fluff to help build the story in time for his next match.
Okay, I respect it. Um, this next question is aimed at Shane, and then Jay. You can, even though this wasn't your take, but you can, comment in on it. Shane, do you still feel that Shinsuke Nakamura will be Intercontinental Champion or U.S. Champion in the year of 2024? Because you were very adamant about it last Monday. So I would love to hear your take on this now.
Of course, you would love to hear this. Again, you're being a shady patty because you already know my thoughts because I have already ranted about this guy. I have already said that I'd given this guy the chance because I thought that he was going to deliver with this whole new persona that was more connected to him, that was more him. And once again, he fell short. And you know what? Just because I'm going to be a nice guy, okay? Believe it or not, yeah, Grumpy Shane, Grumpy Smurf, he's going to be a nice guy. And he's going to give him one more chance. So who is he fighting? He's going after Mr. Cootie on the finish the story thing. You know what? Let's give him that. Let's see whose story can finish and end. So let's do this then. Mr. Shinsuke, if you can finally end Mr. Cootie's story, you will once again win my respect. But as of right now, I am warning you, you better deliver because you've been talking a whole lot of smack and you have not been delivered and you've been disappointing us. You have one more time, One more chance to prove and deliver. If you deliver, cool. If not, back to the dumpster you go.
Jay, it's on you. Same thing.
But I don't think Shinsuke will actually win any titles this year, in my opinion. I feel that he's just gonna be a really good storyteller for this generation of young folk that we got that's into anime and into karate. You know, I'm not gonna take him to the level of like, yeah, he's gonna be that guy, but I want him to deliver every time. Like if you're gonna lose in old school Shinsuke fashion. Deliver a Kinshasa. Do all your moves, bring all your whole arsenal out. Forget the mist and just be you. Because Shinsuke, it seems like they're never gonna put him over unless they're just building the character up to a point where it's either gonna become hotter or stale. I would say this: he doesn't win a title, but he wins Money in the Bank.
That's okay. Okay. And my last question, I'm sure it's something that we did speak on last night, but I'm gonna bring it back around again. We'll go with Jay first, and then Shane. Could Gunther's current run as Intercontinental Champion have happened during the Attitude or Ruthless Aggression eras? Jay, what do you think? And then Shane, right after you.
Des, I think that one was already answered because I was saying I think we answered it, yeah. Because I said if it's more of the ruthless aggression era than what it will do with the attitude era because he's a rough and tough fighter of a guy, type of guy. I'm big and high on Gunther from day one that I saw his whole physique change and everything. So with a guy like him, he's more ruthless than attitude because he's more of a leader by example.
I agree with Jay 100%. Out of all the eras, definitely the ruthless aggression, and it fits him perfectly. And he has so much more powerful guys to go against, and so much more men that he can defeat to prove just how powerful and strong and good he is, and worthy of continuing to have that title. So I would absolutely say the ruthless aggression would have definitely and totally would have been his era, just like this era today.
I respect it. I respect, I, I agree with both of you guys. Um, with that being said, guys, if you will allow me to in this night's podcast, it was a great night for NXT. So far, to me, the ending of NXT is leading as far as the endings of the three major shows that WWE produces each week, And I would like to tell everybody that I would love for them to join us again on Friday for our recap for WWE SmackDown. And guys, thank you so much for participating. Everyone who joined in, thank you very much. And we'll see you again live Friday night on SmackDown this week. And Jay, you want to take us out?
Well, before I do, Shane, any last comments before I end this?
Good fight, good night.
Hallelujah. And that's the way we're going to close the door on NXT tonight. I thank everybody for joining in and listening to a great product that we had delivered tonight. And everybody, yeet.